Blackie Lawless says censorship is worse now than it was in the 80s. This is the rock and roll weatherman. My name is Sean Morrison, and he also calls Donald Trump a winner. Something I do agree with the lead vocalist from Wasp on something. And he was recently did an interview with Manny Campos of the Chile magazine called Heavyphonia. The Wasp song "Animal F Like a Beast" landed at number 9. The PMRC's Filthy 15 40 years ago. He spoke about the importance of free speech, and he said, quite honestly, I think censorship is worse than it was in the 80s because with the internet, you have people that are just afraid to speak. Censorship is an ugly thing because the idea of freedom of speech is not to protect popular speech, it's designed to protect unpopular speech, he explained. And I don't care what anyone has to say, they come up with the craziest ideas they want. He says he has enough faith in his fellow man that they will determine what's bullshit and what's not. And what you give to the people to decide, the majority of the time, they're coming up with the right idea. So he says he doesn't think they're trying to limit speech in any way. He thinks that trying to limit speech, in any way has ever been a good idea. He was also asked if he thinks social media is a democratic way for people to express themselves on a platform for cancel culture and polarized views. He said, well, it's both, but from what he sees, he don't spend a lot of time there, so he doesn't really know a lot about it. But from what he hears, the concept of being able to cancel people is a scary thought. And he goes on to say, if you have someone like me that doesn't care what you say about him, he just doesn't care. But the majority of the world is not like that. They're very sensitive to what other people think, and someone like that will be easy to cancel. Someone like himself, you cannot cancel us because we don't care. You can only cancel someone if they care. If he says if he believes in something that he's doing, he doesn't care if somebody believes it or not. What's important is what he thinks, and he spent his career telling his fans that the only thing that really matters is to think for yourself, to come up with your own ideas, and don't listen to what other people are telling you. And he goes on to say the concept of censorship definitely fits into this. Friends, if you're not subscribed to the Show Morrison YouTube channel, please do so. Everyone else has to subscribe. We thank you much for the continued love, honor, and support. It is greatly appreciated. He made a comment decades ago when he expressed interest in becoming a U.S. Senator. He said at the time he was pretty passionate about it, but he thinks he could say by making records for a long period of time, it would have been crazy to Washington. So he made the right decision, staying where he is, because his voice has spoken louder for a longer period of time if he would have gone in there and done politics. He goes on to say if he's disappointed in politics today, he said because the old expression about power corrupts, absolutely, there's a lot of truth. It's about money and power, and that the politics is, he's a kind of person, he don't do well in environments when people are not allowed to speak the truth. And at the end of the interview, he was asked to describe President Trump in one word. He simply said, a winner. And he defends his decision from November 2024 to praise President Trump during the band's concert in New York City, saying the then president-elect was a patriot who was willing to die for what he believed in. I don't agree with a lot of stuff what Blackie Lawless says with certain things, with him charging ridiculous money for meetings, but I do agree with him in regards to what he said about censorship being worse now in the 80s, as well as calling Donald Trump a winner. Your thoughts, friends? Shame, shame, shame.